Anybody ask you about Le'Veon yet?
A couple times, yeah.
You want to do that one more time?
No, what do you got for me?
Welcome back, or does that to be determined?
It's a business, man. We all got a job to do, so be good. We'll be fine. Just looking forward to getting back to work.
All right, shout out Mike Prisuta. He'll be joining us later in the show. It is the Steelers' bye week. They were out on the practice fields today here at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. And joining me now to talk about Le'Veon Bell and a few other things is my good friend Bob Labriola. Of course, they were out at practice. I don't know who's in the studio. We should probably get rid of them. But, it is the bye week. There is no practice report, no injury report. It is kind of heal the bumps and bruises, if you will, week.
Yeah, and it's usually young guys centric week. This is a week for Josh Dobbs to get a lot of reps, Mason Rudolph to get some reps, Ben Roethlisberger to rest that right elbow that has been causing him some discomfort the last couple of weeks. But this is something that this has been something of a Mike Tomlin tradition in these kinds of situations. You don't want to beat up the older guys who play a lot, but you use this time to get some reps for and some teaching to the younger guys who don't get a lot of exposure during the week in practice, and then certainly not during the games either.
All right, and offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner touched on what you were just saying about especially those two young quarterbacks you're seeing on video right now last week. Let's take a listen.
In the past, it's been great work for our young guys. It's always been, Andrew Jones time and young Josh Dobbs time and Dennis Dixon time, and that was always great time for them. And it's really good to put it, back into perspective, how much they got to continue to grow because they're one snap away from having to lead this football team.
All right, so practice is already over today. They kind of do their Friday schedule where things get started a little bit earlier. They'll be back on the field again tomorrow, and then the players are off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then they'll go to a bonus day on Monday, which is a similar practice.
Right, that's the CBA rules that
Yep.
We love the CBA so much. That was one of the things that was negotiated. It has to be 4 consecutive days off during a team's bye week, and the options for the coach are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Does it really matter?
I think it's better for the team Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because then Monday you start with the week of preparation for the next game, right?
All right. As you heard at the top of the show, a lot of questions this week about Le'Veon Bell. There were reports earlier this month that he would be returning to the team during the bye week. He is not here. We can tell you that. In Labs, a lot is still going to go into this if and when he does show up. It's not as simple as him saying, hey, guys, I'm here, and joining them out on the practice field.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Steelers have the ability, according to the rules, to seek and request up to a 2-week roster exemption. And before Le'Veon if the Steelers indeed seek that, which I'm sure that they will or have already, there has to be a signed agreement in place between the team and the player as to the compensation during the roster exemption. So until that is agreed upon in writing by both sides, the player is not allowed to sign the franchise tender. So, that in that event, if there is not an agreement, it's kind of like kicking the can down the road. So when this happens, how this happens, if this happens, really kind of is in limbo at this point. He's not here on Tuesday of the bye week. Reports are that he is not going to show up during the bye week. And so if you ask me to guess maybe what he's thinking, which has not been a high percentage move for me for the last 2 years, what I would say is he's going to wait to sign the tender until after the trading deadline is passed, which is October the 30th, because you cannot trade a player until he's under contract, which for Le'Veon Bell means signing the franchise tender. So, if Le'Veon doesn't want to end up, say, with the Jets or Buffalo or, you used to be able to say Jacksonville, but they're a good team now. He doesn't want to end up with any team but the Steelers in 2018. The way he can guarantee that is not to report until after the trading deadline, which is again October the 30th, and then the Steelers would have no avenue of trading him. The only option they would have would be to cut him or rescind the tag, which is not going to happen. So it looks like that then he would stay with the team through the conclusion of this season.
All right, Labs, thanks. I think that's a stay tuned thing. In case if you didn't hear him earlier, Mike Prisuta is in studio. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, he joins me for his Plays to Ponder. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is the bye week, but we did not give Mike Prisuta off. He is joining me now live for his Plays to Ponder, the bye week edition. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Missy, how are you? Appreciate this. This is the Steelers' Plays to Ponder through the first 6 games. We've been giving you opponents' Plays to Ponder in advance of each game. Now we're going to kind of take a look back. And speaking of looks back, the guy who just left here, I'm right, he's wrong. Now, on to the Plays to Ponder. We're not doing that this week, Missy, so I have to, get that out of my system. Let's start with the opener in Cleveland, and let's start with James Conner, who has been a revelation this season, but not so much here. This is 7 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Steelers are leading the game by 14. The fans are getting up and heading to the exits in droves, and then this happens, a fumble. The Browns run it back to the 1-yard line. Moments later, it's a 1-touchdown game. It's a new game. We all remember how it ended. Mike Tomlin talks to the running backs every day while they're warming up. He says, if we take care of the ball, it's going to be a good day today. Let me repeat. James Conner has been a revelation this season, but that was a critical fumble. Turnovers in general, fourth quarter fumbles in particular when you're up 14. Got to eliminate that from the equation. Now let's move on to Kansas City. And here's 2 pretty good players, the quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the tight end Travis Kelce hooking up on a 25-yard touchdown pass. The problem with this one, miscommunication on defense. We heard that repeatedly over the early parts of the season. This is too easy. These guys are good enough that they're going to hurt you anyway just because of what they do. The defense has gotten much better at communicating, getting on the same page, whatever cliche you want to use. That wasn't good enough. This is exactly what they're after. This is in Tampa, and what you see here is an interception by Bud Dupree and a run back for a touchdown, but it's a little more than that. It's a 4-man pressure. Keith Butler loves those 4-man pressures. They force the quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to throw it out of the well. That's the cliche the defenders like to use. It's a bad pass. It's a tip pass, and Dupree does what he needs to do with it. There's the pressure by McCullers that influences the play. The defense can make up for a lot of sins, yards gained and time of possession, if you just make these splash plays periodically. A sack at the right time, a fumble recovery at the right time, a pick six anytime you can get one. Let's move on now to the Baltimore game. And here's a little situational football example. The Ravens have a 3-point lead. That's a wide receiver on a run, and that's Artie Burns in the hole, unblocked. You see him come in right to the point of attack, and rather than make an aggressive tackle, he just throws his shoulder into the receiver. That's a guy that he ought to be able to bring down size-wise. Didn't get it done. Here's an example of getting it done to perfection. This play starts, this is Atlanta at the Steelers. Julio Jones motions away from Joe Hayden, so the coverage falls to Mike Hilton underneath and Sean Davis bracketing. You see Hayden jumping up and down because the communication was so good. They executed it to perfection, and this might be my favorite play of the season. This is the new look physical identity that the Steelers have begun to adopt in the last couple of weeks. It is being personified here by tight end Vance McDonald. Millennials might think he's doing his Rob Gronkowski imitation here. To me, it looks like he's doing his Mike Ditka imitation. We've seen that from the defensive line of late, Missy. We've seen that from the offensive line. We've seen that from Conner, and we saw a lot of it from Vance McDonald. If they keep playing that physical style on offense, they're going to wear a lot of people down and out when they get back from the bye, Missy.
All right, Prisuta, thanks so much for joining me today with those plays to ponder as we head into the bye week. For our Steelers Nation Unite members joining us today, the keyword is buy. So head to SteelersNationUnite.com and enter the keyword buy for joining us today. Since it is the bye week, no live show the rest of the week, but we will be back Monday at 4 p.m. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.